thought about. But when you're thinking about the solution, you're thinking about the solution to this problem, as opposed to, I'm going to create this technology, and maybe it has some use. Okay, there's it's not that DARPA didn't fund things like that. I don't want you to think that we never went out and just did plain ass exploratory type of thing, because we did a lot of it. But again, that was what we were kind of doing that because the problem was we didn't understand it. I mean, it really came back to, even there, the statement was a problem statement that then we would, like, we don't understand whether biology people, again, it was really, we got into biology in the middle 90s when the threat changed. Okay, just to give you why did DARPA get into biology. Remember, in the 90s is where we ended up with the threat with no country. I forget what we had, a fancier name with that. So you think, okay, we got this threat. They really is not a nation state. What do we have to worry about? Well, nukes, they aren't, usually they didn't have the wherewithal to make nukes, okay? I mean, so the typical things that you would worry about in a regular country, these guys didn't have that infrastructure to do it. But we realized that in a bathtub someplace, they can make some huge, very bad biology things that could be just as bad as a nuclear shot, okay? So DARPA moved into biology in order to be able to figure out, okay, we weren't necessarily there thinking of how we could make these bugs, but is there a way that we could detect that they were being made? Are there signatures that say if they're making bugs in this bathtub, there's still unique signatures of that make, and so we got totally into the biology problem because we got into the biology area of spending money, because the problem was the new threat, that was their atomic bomb, was a biological bomb, okay? And so that's how that happened, okay? And yeah, we spent a lot of money there and still are. And it has expanded beyond that. One of the major things that a lot of people don't understand is we talk about the golden hour. I mean, you've heard about that, right? That, if a person is wounded, if you can get them back to someplace in an hour, usually he'll survive. I'm sure you understand that, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just trying to, right. Yeah. But you know what? That's great, except that, let me tell you, the real problem with the golden hour is that it restricts our ability for movement. When we go out and just go on a campaign, we do not allow our forces to get out greater than an hour from where we can get something to them and bring them back. So the golden hour is while it's, you might think we're getting people back within that hour so they can survive, and that's why we're doing it, but it has an enormous restriction upon our freedom of movement. So if I could come up with a way that I could have something out in the field where the golden hour became 2 hours, okay, that the real impact is not just saving the soldier. The real impact is that I have now given our forces freedom of movement, which is twice as big as it was before. And that's a major problem, by the way. The real problem here is that we are restricting our forces' ability to take on an enemy by this golden hour. So the problem here is not, is really, how do I allow our forces to have more freedom of movement? One of the constraints is this golden hour. Yeah, there's other constraints I have. I got to have all the vehicles and all that. Mm-hmm. But I could have all the vehicles, and we would not use them if we had soldiers in danger that we couldn't get to them in this period of time. It was just part of the constraints that we imposed upon ourselves. which was the problem, okay? Just to give you an example of how we migrated to something that we weren't in the first 30 some odd years. Yeah.
So we want to be sensitive to your time. I know you got a full day ahead of you. Are there? Would you mind if we followed up with you in the future if we have additional questions?
Of course. No, I wouldn't mind. I mean, sure, of course. Yeah, of course.
That's great. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Now, by the way, have you ever seen a list of the? I have a list here of all the Heilmeier questions that they're called, and they have been modified, and they're really, it ends up there is a list of 9 questions, okay? And this is sort of a description of how a program manager, or how somebody should run a program to get innovation, okay? But it all starts with knowing the problem, and the rest of it is how you go about it, so that you actually create the innovation required to solve your problem. Okay? I really want you to understand that's the when we talk about innovation, it's not it's not something that usually innovation occurs when you have a problem to be solved. Then people think of ways to solve that problem, which we then really call innovation. And sometimes it happens that somebody innovates something, but it's not called innovation. So somebody says, "Hey, you know what? If you can do that, I can solve this problem over here," and then we call it innovation. Okay.
So I have seen the questions, but if there's a specific treatment that you like and it's handy, I'd appreciate it if you'd email it to me.
Well, I will email them to you. I mean, the questions are the questions, and this is just a list of the questions and a description that I would hand out to program managers. Say, here, this is what you do.
So I don't know that I've seen your descriptions, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, if it's simple enough to just shoot it to me in an email at some point, we'd appreciate it.
No, it's us. It's not very. I mean, it's not. This is not. We're not talking volumes here, because if it was, it would never. It would never be useful.
Right. Okay.
It's just 9 questions that have a paragraph or 2 describing what you do. That's all.
Got it.
Oh yeah, I'll ship it to you. I obviously I've got your email address, so I'll ship it to you.
Excellent. All right. Well,
and if you don't get it within the next week, bug me, okay? Just in case, okay? But I have to go find it and send it to you.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
All right. Well, safe travels. I hope you have a good weekend.
All right.
All right.
And good luck with what you're doing.
Well, we'll keep you in the loop. I mean, we'll share content with you, particularly things that relate back to our conversation here, and then certainly provide you with the finished product.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Take care.
Take care. Bye. Thank you. Hey, Jay and Bala, do you want to continue?
I can't. Yeah. I got a meeting. I got to run to.
Oh, so we're going to talk at 2?
Yeah. 2 is fine.